Today, I'll be showing you guys the top 3 best builds in NBA 2K26. If you're a new player with 0 cap breakers or a 2K sweat with 1,000,000 cap breakers, don't worry, I have the perfect build just for you. And I currently have a 92 win percent, so you can trust me when I say these builds are not only fun, but they will get you a lot of W's. All of these builds are super well-rounded and can dominate in every single game mode in 2K. So the first build I'm going to show you guys is a 6'8" shooting guard build that can do everything. I'm going to show you guys 2 versions. One version that has 8 cap breakers. I feel like most people that play 2K, the average amount that someone has is about 8 cap breakers. The second version I'm going to show you guys is for someone who just got the game. Maybe they have 1 cap breaker when they hit level 40. So I'm going to show you guys, don't worry. For the position, go shooting guard, height 6'8", weight go 185 pounds, and for the wingspan, go 6'9", so you can get that 93-point rating, which does unlock deep bomber takeover ability. So starting off with the physicals, we're going to put our speed rating all the way up to an 85. This is actually going to get us slippery off ball because we're going to bring our agility rating all the way up to an 83. This also unlocks some really good motion styles. For the strength rating, we're going to put this all the way up to a 71, and with a 71 strength rating, we actually do unlock immovable enforcer on bronze, and I think that is needed, especially on this build. This build is a super well-rounded build, so you got to be able to play some defense. And for the vertical on this build, we're going to bring this up to a 78. Now, you can use this build as a template, but keep in mind some of these stats you absolutely have to have. Like this vertical, you have to have a 78 with exactly how I'm making this build, so keep that in mind. All right, moving on to the playmaking. The pass accuracy, we're going to bring this all the way up to an 82. We get some really good pass styles with this, and you also get dimer on gold, which is going to benefit you and your teammates at the same time. Now, for the ball handle rating, we're going to put this up to a 71. Hear me out. Just listen. All right. For the speed with ball rating, we're actually going to put this up to a 67. Now, like I said, this build is meant for 8 cap breakers only. Okay. Now, we're going to apply 5 cap breakers on ball handle, okay? That's going to go from a 71 all the way up to an 86, which unlocks really good dribbling badges. It also unlocks some really good dribbling animations. It's going to help you get open, all right? So keep that in mind. 5 cap breakers on the ball handle rating to go from 71 to 86. Now, we're going to apply 2 cap breakers on the speed with ball rating. It's going to go from a 67 all the way up to an 80 in just 2 cap breakers. That's going to give us lightning launch on silver and also the blur takeover ability in case you do want to use that. So far we have 7 out of our 8 cap breakers used. Now moving on to the shooting, we're going to bring our 3-point shot all the way up to a 90. Okay, with a 93-point shot, you can get deep bomber takeover ability and you can shoot from deep. It's insane on this build. Okay, now we're gonna leave the mid-range at an 80. If you do have more than 8 cap breakers, feel free to bring your your mid-range all the way up to like a 90 and try to get like 93 midi if you want. But I think this is going to be a super well-rounded build with deep bomber takeover ability. Now, we did have some leftover attributes, so we're going to bring our free throw rating up to a 70. That was basically the last amount I had to get to 99 overall on this build. So yeah. Now on to the finishing attributes. For the driving layup, we're going to bring this up to a 70 so we can get physical finisher on bronze. I really don't see much of a difference between like a 70 layup and an 80 layup. So we're going to save our attributes. We're going to go with a 70. Now for the driving dunk, we're actually going to bring this all the way up to an 89. Now we do get silver posterizer, which we could +1 to get it to gold if you do want that. Now I said this a second ago, but if you want to go with an 89 driving dunk, you have to go with a 78 vertical because that unlocks the contact dunk animations, at least a 78 vertical. Okay, don't go lower or else there's no point going with an 89 driving dunk. So keep that in mind. Now for the standing dunk, we're going to leave this at a 49, and the post control, we're going to leave this at a 36. So now let's talk about the defensive attributes on this build. It can dribble so far, it can shoot, it can finish around the rim. Let's talk about defense. All right, now for the interior rating, we're going to put this up to a 60 so we can get paint patroller, at least on bronze. We're going to upgrade our block rating in a second. Okay, 60 interior, you're already 6'8". You can get stops consistently, the paint with your hands up. You're going to be chilling. All right. Now for the perimeter defense, we're actually going to bring this all the way up to a 91, and we are going to cap break our last cap breaker on perimeter defense to get it to a 92 so we can unlock gold challenger. Okay, that's going to be really good. This build is super well rounded so far. Again, it can dribble, it can shoot, it can finish, it can also play some defense, as you guys can see. All right, so we're actually going to bring our steal rating all the way up to an 85 to get silver interceptor. Actually, not silver interceptor, sorry, gold interceptor. Now I will say, if you don't want to go for gold interceptor and you want to save your attributes, I would just go with a 73 steal rating so you can get at least silver interceptor. I don't really notice a big difference between bronze glove and silver glove at all. So don't go 79 steel if you're going to use this build as a template, but I still recommend going with the 85 steel rating. Now, moving on to the block, we're actually going to go ahead and bring this all the way up to a 74, and we get High Flying Denier on bronze, and we also get Paint Patroller on bronze as well. The block rating not only helps you get actual blocks when someone goes up in the paint, but it also helps with the contest from the perimeter. So 74 block is definitely going to be beneficial for this build. Now for the offensive rebound rating, we're going to bring this up to a 60, and that is going to complete this build. Okay, yes, 60 O board, 60 D board isn't the best, but remember, you're a shooting guard, so you're going to be boxing out smaller players, and you're going to have that chance to get that second chance opportunity, whether that's on offense or defense, to get the rebound. All right, so this is the build right here. Again, if you skipped, we're applying 5 cap breakers on ball handle to get that to an 86. We're applying 2 cap breakers to speed with ball to get that to an 80, and we're applying our 8th and final cap breaker on perimeter defense to get it to a 92, so we can get gold challengers. So let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what this build name is. And this build is actually called a 2-way 3-point sniping high flyer. That's a crazy long name, but I feel like this is a W build. Let's go ahead and show you guys what the second build is looking like, and it only needs 1 cap break. Now here's the second version I have for you guys. This obviously isn't as good as the first one. This is only for 1 cap breaker. Okay, a lot of you guys just got the game maybe for Christmas or whatnot. This build is for 1 cap breaker. All right, and we're going to be putting the 1 cap breaker in 3-point shot to get that to a 90. The biggest differences between this build and the last one is this one gets only an 87 driving dunk. You get 1 contact dunk animation instead of 2. The speed with ball rating is going to be a 75 instead of an 80. That's fine. You're only missing out on blur takeover, which is totally fine. The perimeter is an 85 instead of a 91 or 92. Sorry, still very good. You still get silver challenger, still going to be super well rounded. Yeah, that's mainly the main differences on this build. This is still a really good build for only having 1 cap breaker. But yeah, I think this is really good. Real quick, our partners at DraftKings Pick 6 has a deal that you do not want to miss out on. The holidays are here, and DraftKings Pick 6 is celebrating in a great way. New DraftKings customers, this one's for you. When you sign up on DraftKings Pick 6 with code Cole and play $5 or more on your first paid Pick 6 entry, you'll get $50 in Pick 6 credits immediately. And you heard that right. Yes, play $5, get 50 in Pick 6 credits to lock in your picks and take your shot at some big wins. Pick 6 is DraftKings' newest fantasy game, and it is the easiest way to play for big wins. All you have to do is just pick more or less on any player's stats. And it's available in all of these orange states that are on the map. And I almost forgot to mention, DraftKings Pick 6 has a gift just for you. It's a free gimme pick. You can make a 3-player pick or more, and the max entry fee is $10. It's given upside. You're 1 pick closer to a holiday bag, and that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So head on over to the App Store and download DraftKings Pick 6, because new DraftKings customers who use code Cole when signing up will receive $50 in Pick 6 credits immediately after they make a $5 play on their first paid entry. So happy holidays, and shout out to DraftKings Pick 6 for sponsoring today's video. This next build I'm going to show you guys is a 6'11" point forward build that is super OP. I'm going to show you guys 2 different versions, just like I did for the 6'8" build. I'm going to show you guys 1 version with 8 cap breakers and 1 version with 1 cap breaker. So let's go ahead, get into it. Power forward is the position, 6'11", height 210 pounds, so you can get the 68 speed with ball, so you can get bronze lightning launch. For the wingspan, we're going minimum, so you can get that 91 3-point shot. And for the agility, we're going to put this up to a 71. For the strength rating, we're going to put this up to a 71, so we can get immovable enforcer on bronze. And we're going to bring our vertical all the way up to an 83, so we can get pogo stick on Hall of Fame, which we could +1 to get it on legend. So let's go ahead and get into the shooting ratings. We're going to bring our 3-point shot up to a 63. Hear me out. We're going to put 5 cap breakers on the 3-point shot, and it's going to bring it up all the way to a 91. Okay, you're going to get shifty shooter on gold with this build. That is absolutely insane. 6'11" with gold shifty. You could actually even +1 it to get it on legend if you want. For the mid-range rating, we're going to bring this up to an 88, and we are going to be using, let me put this all up to an 88 real quick. And we're going to be putting 3 cap breakers right here to get this all the way up to a 93 mid-range rating. Yes, you get a 93 mid-range rating with an 88 mid-range after you apply the cap breakers. All right. So that's all the cap breakers for this build right now. We have already used all 8, so let's go ahead and finish up the rest of the build. The free throw rating, just put this up to a 65. We had some leftover attributes, and that's the only place we could put it. Now for the close shot, put this in at 85. It's naturally going to go there anyways. For the driving layup, We're going to put this up to an 80 because why not? We have so many leftover attributes on this build. For the driving dunk, we're going to go ahead and put this all the way up to an 87, okay? Now, we do get silver posterizer. We could +1 that, +2 that to get it on gold or Hall of Fame. And with an 87 driving dunk, you actually do get 1 contact dunk animation, and that's pretty OP on a 6'11" build. Now, for the stand dunk on this build, we're going to leave this at a 73. I don't think it really needs to go any higher. You already have bronze rise up, which is actually pretty good by itself. And for the post control on this build, I went all the way up to a 90 just because why not? Okay, there's so many attributes you could put on this build. I went with a 90 post control because we actually do get post fade phenom on legend, okay, with a 90 post control. All right, I may have misspoke right here. You either get a 93 or a 94 mid range. I do believe it is actually 94, but we're going to be going with a 90 post control to get that post fade phenom on legend. All right, so moving on to the pass accuracy, we're going to put this all the way up to a 92. I'm telling you guys, you can make this build super OP, okay? You get Hall of Fame dimer with 92 pass accuracy. For the ball handle rating, we're gonna go ahead and max it out at a 75. Why not? All right, just why not? You're 6'11". You're gonna want to be able to dribble. For the speed with ball, we're gonna go ahead and put this all the way up to a 68 so you can get bronze lightning launch, which in my opinion, you should max +2 this to get it to gold, okay? So you're gonna be 6'11" with gold lightning launch. Absolutely insane. Now moving on to defense, we're gonna go with a 74 interior so we can get post lockdown on bronze. For the perimeter, we're gonna put this up to a 71. We get challenger on bronze, which is better than nothing, okay? We also get a movable forcer on bronze. We're gonna max out at a 67 still so you can get that silver, bronze glove, which is better than nothing in my opinion. And for the block rating, we're gonna put this all the way up to an 84 so you can get silver paint patroller and silver high blind denier. Now moving on to finish up this build, we're gonna go ahead and max out the defensive rebound rating to up all the way up to an 80 so you can get silver rebound chaser and silver box out beast. Okay, you're 6'11". You can do everything on this build. This is absolutely insane. And for the offensive rebound rating, we're just gonna go ahead and max it out at a 70. So if you skip to this part of the build, okay, again, we are applying 5 cap breakers to go from a 63 3-point rating all the way up to a 91. And we're gonna apply 3 cap breakers to mid-range to go from 88 all the way up to a 94, okay? Absolutely insane. This build can literally do it all. This is by far, I think, probably the most well-rounded build that you could have on NBA 2K26. Let's go ahead and show you guys what the build name is. Now, this build name is called a mid-post 0.4 eraser. That's a super long name, but I feel like this build is super OP. Let's go ahead and show you guys a version of this build that only requires 1 cap breaker. Now, here is a second version that only requires 1 cap breaker. So if you are a new player, I think this is the one to rock with, okay? We're going to be going with a 90 mid-range, and we're going to be using our one and only cap breaker on mid-range to get it up to a 91 so we can get gold shifty shooter. But I still feel like this build is, I mean, basically the same. Maybe, I don't even know if it's any better, but I mean, it still gets an 87 driving dunk, 80 driving layup, 72 stand dunk, no post control on this build. That's like the one downside, but I mean, honestly, you really don't need post control in this build anyways. But yeah, I mean, it could dribble, it could still pass, got good defense, good rebound ratings, overall still super well rounded. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the third and final build. Now, my third and final build is for all my big men out there. I'm telling you, this build is by far one of the best and the most slept on. I don't know why people don't make this build. This build is crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into it. For the position, we're going center, height 7'1". That's the tallest you can go to get a 93-point shot and get deep bomber takeover ability. Okay, that's the tallest you can go. For the weight, we're going 226 pounds for the wingspan, minimum for 7'1". Okay, you got to get a 7'1" wingspan to get that 93-point shot. For those wondering, wingspan does not matter much this year at all. I'm gonna be honest, it does not affect your rebounding whatsoever. You're gonna be totally fine. You can still get hella rebounds on this build. Now, for the physicals, we're gonna go ahead and max out the speed at a 70. You're at the center spot and you can move really quick. Okay, you can beat defenders around the court. It's crazy how fast this build truly is at 7'1". For the agility, we're gonna max it out at a 58. For the strength rating, we're gonna put this all the way up to an 83. That is gonna give us silver brick wall, which we could +1 that to get it to gold. It's your choice. Okay, now for the vertical on this build, I ended up going with an 82. I just went ahead and maxed it out. Vertical is definitely going to help out with blocks, and it's also going to help out with rebounding as well. We could just go with like an 80, you know, but I feel like 82 is there, so why not take that? Now for the 3-point rating, we're going to bring this all the way up to a 69, and we're going to apply 5 cap breakers on 3-point shot, and that is going to give us a 93-point rating on this build. It's going to be crazy. All right. For the mid-range, we're going to put this up to an 88, and we are going to apply 2 cap breakers on mid-range. For the free throw rating, put this all the way up to a 73. We had nowhere else to put it, so we just put it on the free throw rating. For the driving layup on this build, put it up to a 70 so you can get physical finisher on bronze. For the driving dunk, we're going to put this at an 80. All right. We get an 80 driving dunk on this build. It's kind of crazy. And for the stand dunk, we're actually going to put this up to an 89, and we're going to use our final and last cap breaker on stand dunk to get it up to a 90. At a 90 stand dunk, you do get some contact dunk animations, and you also get gold rise up. So our 8th and final cap breaker is going to go on stand dunk. Now this is totally up to you, but for me, I went with a 79 post control just so you can get post fade phenom. It's really good for bailout situations. If you're getting clamped, you know, all that stuff, you can still get in the post, hit a nice little post fade. If you want to max +1 this, you can get it on Hall of Fame. By the way, use the Kevin Durant post fade, super OP. I like it for bailout situations. I'm not getting in the post as my first choice, but it's a good bailout situation. Now let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. For the pass accuracy, we're going to put this all the way up to an 87. I like break starter on gold. I mainly play on this build in the 5v5 setting. So once you get the defensive rebound, you can launch it down the court with gold break starter. Now for the ball handle rating, we're just going to max it out at a 72. And for the speed with ball, we're going to max this out at a 57. Yes, guys, you can dribble on this build. I promise. I know the ratings look low, but I promise you, you can dribble on this build. And if you do apply the ball handle rating for your only attribute applied in your custom takeover, it could actually go up to like 87 or 88 ball handle, and you can momentum crossover super fast. It's super OP. Trust me, this build can do it all. Now for the interior defense on this build, we're going to put this up to an 82, so you do get post lockdown on silver. For the perimeter, we're going to bring this up to a 62 to get immovable enforcer. You don't get anything after this because it only goes up to a 66. Your perimeter defense only goes up to a 66, and then you can't get anything. So just put it at a 62 to get bronze immovable. For the steal rating, I went ahead and maxed this out at a 59. You can't get a 60 on this build, but I feel like, you know, the chances of you getting a lane steal, you know, compared to a super low steal rating compared to a 59, there's a big difference. I feel like you're more likely to get that lane steal with a 59 steal rating. Now for the block on this build, we went ahead and went with an 84 so we can get paint patroller on silver. So yeah, I mean, look, this build can do it all so far. All right, now let's go ahead and show you guys what the defensive rebound rating looks like and offensive rebound. So for the defensive rebound rating, we're going to put this all the way up to an 85. I know a lot of you guys are going to say it's going to get out rebounded. I promise you, if you know how to play center, you know how to, you know, box out, you know, positioning, you're going to be totally fine. I promise. Okay. Now I highly recommend +2ing rebound chaser from silver to Hall of Fame and box out beast at least from gold to Hall of Fame with the max +1. All right. Now for the offensive rebound rating, we're going to go ahead and max this out at an 81. And this is the build right here. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you guys did skip to this part of the video, we're putting 5 cap breakers on 3-point shot to get up to a 90. We're putting 1 cap breaker on stand dunk to get to a 90. And we're going to be applying 2 cap breakers to mid-range. All right. So yeah, this is the build right here, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing this build can't do. Okay. It can rebound. It can play defense. It can dribble. It can get stand dunk, contact dunk animations. It can get driving dunk animations. And it gets a 93-point shot with deep bomber takeover ability. This build is absolutely insane. So let's go ahead and show you guys what the build name is. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. This build is called a mid-paint playmaking cleaner. It's a pretty weird name. Look at the weaknesses. It says no big weaknesses to report. I feel like this is a big W. I love this build. Let's go ahead and show you guys another version of this build that only requires 1 cap breaker. Now here's another version that only requires 1 cap breaker, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people might like this version better than the first one I just showed. Okay, so the biggest differences on this one is you're gonna be applying 1 cap breaker and 1 cap breaker only to the 3-point rating to get that all the way up to a 90. Okay, again, you get deep bomber takeover ability with this 3-point rating. All right, now this build gets a 92 pass accuracy to get Hall of Fame dimer instead of gold Hall of Fame dimer. Yes, that's actually really good. Now this build only gets a 70 ball handle compared to a 72. Is there going to be much of a difference? Probably not. This build gets an 88 block instead of an 84 like the last build, and this build gets an 80 offensive rebound. The biggest differences in this build is the pass accuracy, the mid-range, and basically the post control. That's just about it. Maybe a little bit more block, a little bit less ball handle, but yeah, overall these are the best top 3 builds that you can make in NBA 2K26. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, do me a favor, leave a like and subscribe. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace.